Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
We are live.
I didn't hear you. Oh, yeah, I gotta do that.
Yeah. My wife's
But
very.
you reviewed those changes.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Adequate notice of this meeting of the Lawrence Township Council being held on Thursday, November. Oh, yes, November 7th. Oh, my gosh, sorry. November 7th, 2024, has been provided through the posting of the annual meeting schedule of said council in accordance with Section 13 of the Open Public Meetings Act. Said notice was forwarded to the Towntonian, the Times, and the Princeton Packet on December 11th, 2023. For inspiration, I'd just like to read two recent quotes that really connect this week that we had a presidential election, which went well. The light of America's promise will always shine bright. You can love your neighbor, you can love your country only, or you can love, you can't love your neighbor, You can't love your country only when you win, and you can't love your neighbor only when you agree. All right, and with that, we'll have an inspiration, Madam Clerk.
May we carry out our work at this meeting in a just, honorable, and sincere manner, always bearing in mind our duties and continuing to keep Lawrence a wonderful community in which to live. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Madam Clerk, if we could have the roll call, please.
Mr. Babbitt. Here. Mr. Kanaki.
Here.
Ms. Perry.
Here.
Mr. Ryan cannot be with us this evening, and Mayor Farmer.
Here. Okay, special proclamations, recognition, and presentations. I just want to take a moment, I think I mentioned at one of our meetings how we have several members of our community who will be celebrating their 100th birthday. Actually, we have someone here who celebrated their 105th birthday celebration. So I just wanted to take a moment because I think it just speaks volumes to the quality of life and to the individuals who have contributed to our society here in Lawrence. So I just want to list their names, maybe know. We first have Miss Hartz, who will be celebrating, Grace Hartz will be celebrating her 98th birthday, and we want to extend best wishes on behalf of council for a wonderful birthday celebration filled with fun, reminiscing about past events, and making new memories to cherish. So she's almost at 100. And then we have Miss Tagliarino, Joanne Tagliarino. What an honor and privilege it is to be able to wish you a happy 102nd birthday, to extend you best wishes on behalf of council for a very wonderful birthday celebration filled with fun, reminiscing about past events, and making new memories to cherish. And then we have Miss Edna Weiss, who will be celebrating her 101st birthday. And we also want to extend her best wishes on behalf of council for a very wonderful birthday celebration. And we have Miss Veronica Ann Pickering, who will be celebrating her 100th birthday. And we want to extend best wishes on behalf of council for a very wonderful birthday celebration filled with fun, reminiscing about past events and making new memories to cherish. And then we have one additional proclamation, very special one here. I believe we have her daughter present in the audience, and that is for Ms. Rose Kahn, who will be celebrating her 105th birthday. 105. I want to talk to her. I want to know her secret.
I got the lady.
Yeah.
Beer and pizza.
It's in the
Hey.
G's.
Beer and pizza.
Which pizza bar? No, we're good.
Which beer? That's it. Which beer? What's your-
So, Ms. Khan, what an honor and a privilege it is to be able to wish you a happy 105th birthday. To extend you best wishes on behalf of council for a very wonderful birthday celebration filled with fun, reminiscing about past events and making your memories to cherish. So I will be signing these, and I believe I will be meeting all of the individuals and handing these celebration proclamations in person. And if anyone on council would like to join me, I would definitely welcome that. But it is a tremendous honor to be able to present these to these wonderful, let's say, young women who have lived tremendous lives.
Notice it's all
Yeah,
women.
that is true. Okay. And we also will be presenting a proclamation to Women's Space for, let me just take a look here, which was founded in 1977 for their support in crisis intervention and safety to women who are victims of sexual assault and domestic violence. So we will also be presenting this to them on December 2nd. And with that, we will now move to the 5-minute moment for public participation on the agenda.
Good evening, Sylvia Cobus. As we approach the end of this year and the fiscal year, and we're looking at, as a township, to hire new firefighters. Chief Longo probably would have loved some new police officers. The schools need to be rebuilt to accommodate the preschoolers. I believe that you as the council members have to look at that and consider whether or not an apartment development with space for retail should be granted a payment in lieu of taxes. Because when all of those, and then of course, we're looking at the former homefront space, where whether or not it stays a community center or it becomes a recreation department, it still will need to have the improvements done to accommodate people with physical disabilities. So these are big ticket numbers. I believe there's like about 8 firefighters we're looking to hire. So this is important because as we didn't have, us residents, we didn't have a tax increase for this fiscal year. That will come back to us residents. And then almost 300 apartment developer will get a break. We will not get a break, but the developer will. So please consider that. Please consider us, our pocketbooks, and how that will impact us. You passing a pilot program for a for-profit developer. Heritage Village, that's a 55 and over community. Lawrence School, that's an educational facility. So there are certain things, and I don't know many of the others that do have, that are under the pilot program right now, and what was the reason that they were granted that. But this particular one, I believe, with the plastic lawns that they're proposing to bring and not putting any strong promises that they will continue to care for the trees that are going to be there blocking their frontage for their retail spaces and all that, calling our advisory committees that our advisory committees are saying, saying rubbish or rumble in their advice to the planning board. That is, that all of that needs to be considered, whether or not they do qualify. Mr. Konaki, I don't know, I think it was the last meeting when we were talking about doing community center, was very upset, or is that going to go into our funding for new firemen? And I agree with Mr. Konaki that we need to consider what's going to cut into that funding and who's going to have to cover that. So as you consider that, please consider whether or not it's going to impact us, the residents, who do not make any money from our residences. That specific development will make money out of that property. So thank you for your attention, and have a good night.
Just to clarify, you're referring to the property at 3131?
3131, yes.
May I clarify something?
Sure.
Because I just don't want it to get legs and get out there.
Okay.
There is nothing, the budget, 2025 budget has not been prepared. And there is been no discussion with me, at least, of hiring 8 firefighters. That's just not in the realm of possibility.
I'm sorry, I don't know the specific
I
number.
just don't want it to be something that it's been said, not responded to, and then all of a sudden, everybody's thinking that there's 8 firefighters being hired. That's not the case.
Thank you for clarifying that. No.
I've never done this before, so.
It's okay. You just get 5 minutes, that's all we
Well,
have.
I won't. I love the township.
We have your name?
Yes.
Pardon. Chris Vasiliou. I live, I think in zone 1, but for this purpose, it doesn't matter. So been here 10 years.
Your street is all we need, your street.
Oh, pardon me, I put it there too. It's 6 Glenbrook Court. Glenbrook Court. I think in a nutshell, the executive summary is the leaves pickup process in this township is a joke, travesty, terrible, whatever word among those, they all apply. There are 3 elements to this that make me say that. Number 1, whatever cost embodied in our property taxes that I pay for leaves, and I don't really ask for much of the township. I don't get anything out of the education. I don't have, kids going to school here. I just want the basic necessities. So whatever cost is embodied for leaves pickup per se, we as residents end up paying a lot more above and beyond that. And I'll clarify that. Or we spend a lot more time with the process. The second thing is our system relative to other townships. I think Princeton, for example, has electric blowers. We are allowed to use gas blowers, and they're out there all day long, all day night if anybody wants to go out there. There's no break. Sometimes I think some townships don't have the ability to do it on a weekend. So not only are we incurring significant amount of air pollution, but there's noise pollution all week because of the fact we don't have electric blowers, and there's no days off. And the third thing is, because of the schedule which the pickup drivers operate, there's a safety issue for the roads. If everybody's putting their leaves to the side of the road here, and the people across the street are putting it to their side of the road is literally half as wide as it otherwise should be. My understanding of the schedule is, during the 2-month period from November 1st to the end of the year, and that's about 60 days or so, leaving aside days that they're not operating, election, Christmas, whatever the days are. And I went there today. Apparently, the hope is that they get out 3 days. But if it's not 3, then it could be 2. So somewhere along the way in a 60-day period, supposedly there's gonna be someone picking up my leaves, maybe 3 times, but it could be just 2. So what happens is you bring your leaves to the side of the road, and I got a big stack. I have pictures I took. I don't think anybody likes to see my pictures, but what invariably happens is because you sit there and you wait, they don't come. You wait, they don't come because they're out there somewhere else in the zone, the leaves blow back. So then you end up spending more time picking up the leaves that are blowing back. I don't understand how you get maybe 3 days. There's no clarity here in terms of when they may come. It's just leaves pick up every week. So we're all just sitting there blowing and blowing and blowing. And you just keep blowing and blowing and blowing because they then come back. How is it we don't have a better system of at least certain streets knowing when they may get picked up over a 2-week period versus everybody just out there like idiots blowing leaves all day long and hoping someone comes. Is the truck coming? Is the truck not coming? So we end up spending more time or money, depending upon whether you do it yourself or you're paying people to do it. You're listening to this all day long. We don't have electric blowers. We have gas blowers. There's no day off. You can't even have a respite on Sunday. God bless these people that live to 100. And maybe it's my personality. I ain't going to get there if I have to listen to blowers all day long, you guys. And then the streets really are unsafe. So there just seems no method to the madness, in all due respect. And I'm not complaining about the people that are working in public works. They're doing their job, but I don't know why we can't have more clarity and more consideration given to more environmentally conducive ways of picking up leaves. So I thank you for allowing me to speak.
I just have a quick question. When
You
you're
can
talking
see I'm
about,
obviously very worked up.
no, I don't. The leaf business is a very serious business. You take it very seriously.
Want me to sit down or?
No, when you were talking about electric blowers versus gas blowers, are you talking about residents having?
Yeah, at least residents, yeah, I mean, I understand maybe there's places where you have to use gas, but residents, you know, I have an electric blower, but I don't think my neighbors do.
Okay.
But I think my concern is, I think there's other townships that put a little bit more effort into thinking these things through, whether it's electric blowers, having a Sunday off, or having a more codified schedule as to when you can expect the truck to come by. Because if I know he's not gonna come by this week, then I'm not gonna be sitting here like an idiot doing the whole process for 2 weeks now running, waiting and seeing.
Thank you.
So, thank you. Does someone get back to me on that at all, or how does this work?
Mr. Nowitzki, there is a schedule for leaves by zones, right? That's how it works, yeah.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
if you leave your name and phone number with me, I can spend some time with you, and Greg Whitehead to explain it. It's a very large, it's 120, more than 120 miles of roadway with more than 11,000 houses to collect, or properties to collect from. It's a pretty big operation for 2 months. So in order to make that all work for a non-essential service, it's not an essential service, it's an additional service provided to the community. In order to make that work, this is what we can do. And you know, you're in the minority of people who have a problem with our leave or other collection programs, because it's pretty good.
Well,
And you want more clarity and definitive of when a truck is gonna go by, but there's just too many different variables that take place. We just don't have a large group of employees and many trucks to cover the area and have very much specificity in terms of the date and time that happens. But I understand your frustration.
Zone 1 is a pretty big zone. They can't say this part is on.
It's resources. Anything can be resolved with money, with more staff, with more equipment. Of course, that's the answer. But to make everything else fit together in a budget, that's the challenge. But I apologize for your frustration.
How about electric days off? Do we ever think about stuff like that?
I can tell council that this issue always comes up, and the great majority of our residents would be opposed to being required to turn to electric blowers at this time. Princeton can do it because they have very small properties in the Princeton proper. I talked to the Princeton administrator, how'd you get this done? And they have a very unique situation. They have very small properties where people can, break or use electric blowers because they'll last the time that it takes to do it. Or they have very large properties where the people are affluent enough to resolve those issues with paying more labor to do the work and things like that. We're not Princeton in those terms. So if there was to be some type of determination as how many are for and how many against, I think overwhelmingly, from what I've heard over the last 7 or 8 years, I think overwhelmingly people would be against restricting leaf blowing to electric. But we're getting close to it because, the power's getting longer. I mean, the technology's there. But, it is a complaint that I
We
received.
went over 5 minutes, and that's my fault, but I appreciate all your comments. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. We have someone,
That's a lot of them require that.
Good evening. My name is Jim Waltman. I'm the Executive Director of the Watershed Institute. And I wanted to speak very briefly on resolution, it's number 372. This is authorizing an agreement for the Stony Brook Watershed Management Plan. It's a little odd to be talking about flooding and water pollution and the height of I just heard today marks the longest period ever without any discernible rain in the state of New Jersey. So, but the rain will come back and there will be flooding, and flooding brings water pollution and issues like we have in a lot of lakes and ponds that people have enjoyed boating or fishing over the years and now are not accessible because of these harmful algal blooms and other water pollution issues. So I wanted to commend the township. Your staff have been working with us and your neighbors. There are 6 municipalities within the Stony Brook watershed. And to address these water issues, these surface water issues of flooding and water pollution, really the only way to do it well is to work with our neighbors and do it on a watershed basis. So that's what this item is all about. Hire a really top-notch professional. I can tell you because of this is not a simple thing to pull off. It would be a lot easier if we created towns 300 years ago based on watersheds. So each of the 6 towns has been asked to approve a separate agreement with this consultant. The Watershed Institute has been convening meetings with all the towns and the consultants now for more than 2 years, I believe. So anyway, I'll cut it off there. Thank you for having this on the agenda. Thank you for your staff's participation in these important meetings. And we encourage you to adopt the resolution. Thank
May I
you.
ask you one question? Can you clarify the 6 municipalities besides?
Yes, so it's Lawrence, Princeton, Pennington, Hopewell Township are all in Mercer, and then East and West Amwell are in Hunterdon. We're having a few issues with the Amwells right now, and it's a different county. So at the moment, the 4 Mercer County municipalities are working on resolutions to agree to hire the consultant together. And we're just in-kinding all of the convening services that we've been providing.
Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing no additional comments, we'll move to the agenda. Do we need to make any reviews or revisions to the agenda for tonight?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to remove resolution 18H8 for this meeting.
We need to,
Need a
take a vote.
second.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, if you call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mayor Farmer.
Yes. And now I need a motion for adoption of minutes of previous meetings.
Mayor, I don't remember who was present, who was absent, so I'm gonna move them individually, if that's all right. I'll make a motion to move 8A, regular meeting of May 7th, 2024.
So,
Second.
all right. I have just a slight correction, if I may.
Sure.
Was like, changing. It was just changing one word from senator to sustainability, on page 11. Second to last paragraph,
Okay.
yeah, that's all.
Oh, that's fine.
Mhm. And with that, if we can have a roll call, please.
Sure. Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mayor Farmer.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to move 8B, regular meeting May 21st, 2024.
Second.
Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mayor Farmer.
Yes. Okay.
I'll make a motion to move 8C, closed session March 19th, 2024.
Yep, do you have a second? Mr. Kanaki, could you second that for us, please? Okay. Madam Clerk, if you call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Abstain, I was not here.
Mayor Farmer.
Yes.
I'll make the motion for 8D, closed session April 16th, 2024.
Second.
Madam Clerk, if you call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mayor Farmer.
Yes.
And then finally, I'll move 8E, closed session May 7th, 2024.
Second.
Madam Clerk, if you call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mayor Farmer.
Yes. Okay, this brings us now to the next part of our meeting of awarding and/or rejection of bids.
Mayor, I'll move 9A, number 366, authorizing awarding bid 24-14, 2023 NJDOT Trust Fund Improvements, Gainsborough Road, Gedney Road, and Fieldborough Road.
Second.
Is there any discussion from the public? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mayor Farmer.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to move 9B, number 367, authorizing awarding bid number 2411, 2024 snow plowing.
Yes. Okay. Any discussion from the public?
Mayor, I'd like to hear the manager's description of 9B, please.
Okay.
So generally, we do snow plowing in-house with our public works department. And we do a really good job at it. But there are times if we get hit with a storm and we need to engage outside sources for help to clear important roadways and parking lots and things like that. We always have built into our budget the ability to retain an additional company to assist us in that process. And so they're basically retained on an as-needed basis, and our forecasting provides $17,000 as something that has been kind of consistent when needed. So that's the reason for this.
All right, thank you. Okay. Seeing no comments from the public, Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mayor Farmer.
Yes. Okay. This brings us now to the introduction of ordinances. Do we have any? Adoption of ordinances, seeing none, and this now brings us to the manager's report.
I just have a couple items. The first item is that we're getting close to doing work on improving this meeting room. It's not been improved on in quite some time. And as a result, once we get a start date, which we hope to be within the next 3 or 4 weeks, our council meetings will shift downstairs. We'll make sure that our notices provide the exact location. But we expect the work to take about a month to do, and we'll get back up here and resume our work in this room. The second item is, Mary reached out to me and asked a question about the work that's being done on 206 near the intersection of Franklin Corner Road and Lawrenceville Pennington Road. As I described to you, and I'll describe to everyone, 206 is a state road, and the work that's done on it is by New Jersey DOT. Routinely, they would provide us notice and plans and dates of the scope of work that's involved, but for whatever reason, work started at this location and we had not received anything, so we had our engineers actually go out to the location and ask, what's happening. From the work site manager, we were informed that the long-awaited left-hand turn from 206 onto Lawrenceville Pennington Road is being worked on and to be installed. It's something that's been going on for the past 20 years that we've requested that. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the wait time coming up Franklin Corner Road is, if you have to take that jug handle, if you don't. It's a long time, you have to figure out another way to do it.
I go straight.
So it's good timing, and it's not confirmed, but, we reached out to DOT and said, hey, give us the scope of this work so we could put it on our website and let people know what's going on, because I did receive a couple phone calls.
Did they give you an estimated time?
Well, that's where we're waiting for the DOT to respond to us with regard to that. They thought it was gonna take a couple months to do, so.
Tremendous.
Seems like they're advancing pretty good.
Tremendous
Waiting 20
improvement,
years.
tremendous improvement to our community, so thank you.
Yeah, it's gonna help a lot of people for sure. And then the final thing is, I have provided to you this all in an email, that 2024 New Jersey best practices. And I'll just read this into the record. The 2024 Best Practices Inventory is a program under the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs Division of Local Government Services. It evaluates each municipality's adherence to various laws and gauges how they implement fiscal and operational best practices. A municipality answers certain questions, the inventory as crafted by the Division of Local Government Services. The 2024 inventory consists of 69 questions divided into 3 categories: core competencies, best practices, and unscored survey. The streamlined data collection, 12 of the unscored survey questions are further divided into multiple subparts. Municipalities must achieve a minimum of score of 35 on the inventory to qualify for their full final state aid. Lawrence Township scored 41.5, so we exceeded the maximum category, and we will get 100% of the state aid that we have coming to us, yet to be determined. So we've consistently scored well on these inventories. I have copies that I can provide you at the end of the meeting. So that's it.
All right, well, tremendous, thank you for that, and kudos to you and your staff for tremendous work. All right, any other comments? Okay. The attorney's report.
Yes, Mayor, briefly, 2 things. One, some of you may know the fourth round housing obligation guidelines were recently sent out by the state DCA, and we have the ability to review them, and if we want to question that or have any concerns on it, we have until January 31st to pass a resolution. I think our planner has already taken a cursory review. I'm suggesting possibly at the next meeting and we can do this in public, have a brief discussion of how those numbers affect Lawrence Township. Our initial, very cursory review appears to be that we are in pretty good shape, but I think we owe it to the public and to council to possibly even have our planner here to discuss what the numbers are and how it affects our overall plan. So that's one thing. Second, I was asked to give an opinion with regard to the deputy municipal clerk's position, but I think that's appropriate for the closed session. So we'll discuss that in closed session as a personnel matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, and
Yes.
great work on the election. I know.
Thank you.
Very,
Everybody.
Yes.
All the clerks of the county, everybody. We had a great election, very minimum problems, and we were very happy about that. Did not make the paper or the news. So that was wonderful.
Did you notice anything with the early voting, how that impacted the
Early
process?
voting was wonderful. The county really pushed us on that, the clerks. They really sent out the information about that. They did those flyers that you seen that I posted, all of the clerks posted. We did it on the electronic board. I had it on the website, and this went throughout the county. And so when I went to the polls and I did my little rounds, none of the polls were over, with a lot of people. They just went smoothly. The only problem we did have was with the electronic, with the cartridges at the end of the night. Some wouldn't read, but we called the county and I think they did everything they needed to do with that part. And then there was just a little machine problems, but they fix all that. They have technicians that go around, but everybody did a wonderful, wonderful job. Setups was on time. We were very, very pleased with the election, and we're very glad it's over. Okay, so let's see here, and boards and committees will be going out to you in your next packets. I will be sending out emails to them to see who. I have started working on it, got halfway through. So I will be sending that out on the November 27th. Your packets will go out a little bit early for the December because of the holiday, because of the Thanksgiving holiday.
And with the boards and commissions, is what we'll be appointing in the new year.
Yes,
And
and
we
you'll
had
have like
applications
all the
already.
meetings to look, to look them over. And as I get new responses back, I'll give you something on December 3rd meeting, and I'll give you another one on December, the second one in December.
Okay,
Yeah.
and we can reach out, if there are any carryovers, we'll reach out to them.
Yes, and then you can make the point, for you to decide what you want to do in January. Okay, and then, of course, you just got the community of light for women's space.
Yeah.
We added that on. That's gonna be December 2nd. And that's about it.
All right, thank you very much.
May I have one more thing?
Yes.
I apologize. I would be remiss without mentioning this, is Anthony Cermelli was our longtime construction official. He worked for the town for, I believe, almost 50, if not 50 years. He retired several years ago, and he unexpectedly passed away last week. And I just wanted to give him the honor of being mentioned in his service to the town, appreciated. We always laugh when we spoke. His name is on so many permits that people have in their own certificate of occupancies and things like that. So his name will go on. And condolences to his family.
Yes, I knew Mr. Snell, he was a tremendous addition to our community. He contributed tremendously. Absolutely. We do send our condolences to the family. All right, unfinished business. New business. All right. This will now bring us to the second opportunity for public participation. This time it will be for 3 minutes. Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to resolutions. We have, bond release.
Mayor, if there's no objections, I'd like to move them in a block.
Okay, any objections?
All right, I'll move, make a motion to move 18B1 through H7 and then H9 in block.
Second.
Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kaneki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mayor Vernon.
Yes. We have now, we're gonna move,
No, we're
we're
done.
done, because we moved that on the agenda.
Yeah, because we already
Okay.
removed
Okay.
18.
Then moving on to council initiatives and liaison reports. Let's start. Mr. Kaneki?
Madam Mayor, I just want to remind everybody, Veterans Day is Monday. Do what we do in our service out front here, sharply at 11. It's 11 is what the date stands for. I know Captain Paul's is donating sausage, peppers, and onions. And we're gonna have some kind of cake or cupcakes. I forget what else I heard, but Recreation is in charge of that. They're going to be out there. And the Patriotic Committee will be out there. The 112th will be out here to fire the cannon. We'll be firing that again. And that's a thank you to the museum who was in charge of the artillery piece, that we had to get permission. The manager had to, actually not me, but the manager, in order for us to get it and be able to fire it that day. So if you're available, 11 o'clock sharp, out front here, we'll be doing it.
The weather's gonna be nice.
Huh?
The weather's gonna
Well,
be
good.
nice.
Yeah, so do it.
The neighbors know the cannon goes off. Okay. Councilwoman.
Just an update on the public safety subcommittee. We have developed the RFP that we will be producing. It's been reviewed and we'll discuss with the rest of the team and move forward to be on next meeting's agenda.
Good, thank you. Mr. Bobbitt, okay. I just have a few things. I just wanted to give a little bit of an update on the master plan, as was mentioned by council, that we have received our fourth round of affordable housing obligations, and we have a plan to schedule meetings once they're received, and we'll be discussing the numbers and have a presentation by Ms. McManus here at council. We're requesting that she come and present before us so we can share with the public what the fourth round affordable housing obligations were determined by the state. Also, there will be an additional fall meeting with regards to the master plan, so look for that. That should be scheduled with the stakeholders in the near future. Let's see what else. The status of the Lawrence Community Center, and Recreation Center, with regards to the assessment and improvements. Nancy Bergen, the superintendent, Greg Whitehead, and the architect from Clark, Caton, and Hints have had a site inspection last week. They showed the architect the building and discussed improvements to incorporate for the overall improvement of the project. That the report is expected in the next several weeks, and to the extent the improvements that are undertaking, the improvements we undertake will also depend on how we intend to use the building. So there will be more information coming forward with regards to the review of the building and get a handle on the cost of what improvements we will be able to make financially. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's what I have. And I just want to also just, for trails and open space, we had a meeting earlier this week, and a question had come up with regards to the ELSA agreement with regards to the pipeline going into Colonial Lakes And that, could you just, Mr. Pernat, just repeat again what, the status of that was? I know that it is, that obligation, we have, had a letter received from Elsa, so that's on the record with regards to what our intentions are.
They're gonna agree to, with the tree, to have a person out there to inspect it before, during, and after. The pipeline that they're putting in is because pipes that are in the ground are over 50 years old, 40 years old. The new pumps that gotta be installed from Lower Ferry and River Road, that station's getting rebuilt. Out here, Fackler is being rebuilt and moved because of the flood. The pumps going in, if we put them in, it will blow these pipes out. All right, so there's gonna be work done on Princeton Pike, which I think is the county road, but the township had to be involved with it. They'll be putting new pipes in there. They'll be taking them up, Lawrence, Low Ferry Road by New Jersey Manufacturers in that area, going across the street to the pump station. That pump station is gonna be moved. They brought property from the deaf school, and that's gonna be moved for a bigger pump station for down the future, because Lower Ferry, we learned that they're closing up Seager State Police and bringing them here. So that's gonna be a lot more people here. Then on the other side of the tracks there, Ewing owns some property, and they wanna put housing there. Well, that would go to that pump station. So that's why that has to be built up more. For your project coming through Lawrence, 4th Street Pump Station is gonna be all new too. All right, it's gonna be bigger pumps and pipe work running from the back of 4th Street. Once it crosses over to the creek, that's Lawrence Township. It's gonna run all the way down the easement that comes out by the light, Darrell Lane, that's Elsa's easement. It's gonna go into the street and it's gonna go by, I think it's called Turtle Park. Around that development over to the shopping center. And then it will be going across Route 1 and up Christmas Street down to the end, making a left and another right under the first canal, under Route 1 bypass, under the other canal, and it would take it back into the back part of Elsa's plant. All right. It's a lot,
It's a big project.
it's a big project. DEP approved our 5-year plan, or sort of approved it. I know the 12th, we got a meeting with Ewing's council to talk about everything that's going on, where we're at with all the construction, where we're at with the violation that we're in, what we're doing to correct the violation. And then Lamar, who's building in Hopewell, is taking us to court, so I can't say much about that case, but they want to know where we're at with that. So what we're doing, we're bringing in our heavyweights. We're gonna have our attorney there, we're gonna have all our engineers there, also DEP will be there.
Okay.
All right. My recommendation would be, you might want to think about bringing them Elsa here with everybody, so that everybody here can hear what is actually happening out there. It is a very big project, and it's not going to be the 20 million that people heard. It might somewhere be between, with all the work that has to happen in that plant, somewhere between 8 million and 10 million. But most of the pump station jobs are already been approved by us. It's not costing the townships a dime. We have the money for it. We were approved for all that.
Okay.
All right, I like your recommendation
Can I
to.
add a little? I know the manager had sent all of us an email, so I'll just sort of read from the attachment. It was resolution 299-24 that we adopted on August 20th of this year. I know Mayor and Councilwoman Perry were out of town for that meeting, but that was sort of talking about the Elsa doing the pipe work at Colonial Lake Park. And attached to that adopted resolution was a letter dated July 15th from the Ewing Water Sewage Authority, in which they had some sort of piece of, and they talked about that they were going to reroute the pipeline to a public street to prevent tree clearing within the existing sewer easement within the park, that there's only one tree in question, and Elsa will require hand excavation within the drip line of that tree. Elsa is agreeable and further will require an arborist to be on site for inspections during excavation and pipe installation in and around the noted tree. So I hope that helps assuage any fears that people have that Elsa might be damaging any of the trees in the park. So.
Thank you, Councilman. And I think it's a good idea to bring it up.
Just a follow-up. They're moving the pipe over to the main street. The pipe next to Colonial Lakeland, all right, for the 25 years I worked there, we never had a problem with. The pipe we had a problem with was always across the street at the shopping center. That's where all the breaks took place, the leaks took place. So the pipe that's by Colonial Lakeland, it's gonna be a dead pipe. It's gonna be there. Eventually, they're gonna look at it to see if it has to be lined or whatever, or if we have to put a second pipe in. But that's at least 10 years down the road.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for that clarification. And I like your recommendation of having also come and give us a more recent update on where things are, because that is quite a large project, and it would be beneficial for all of us to hear directly from Elsa. We'll look into that, Mr. and then talk offline on that. Okay, let's see what else we have. Written communication, I don't believe that. Nothing to share, okay. I don't know, Madam Councilwoman, I don't know if you wanted to mention anything about growth and redevelopment. I know we've had some openings of new businesses in town, or
We have.
there's an upcoming workshop as well.
So the good thing is your tax dollars are at work. Mercer One, we've had 3 new openings. J. Crew, Sephora is coming in about 2 weeks, and Bloomingdale's Outlet. So we're really drawing a very robust business opportunities in that area, and that is saving some of the retail in our township, because we know the mall is having its challenges, but Mercer One is on fire. They are really, with that comes some issues with the shoplifting, but they have been expanding quite a bit, and it's beautiful to see that that's so vibrant.
We also had a new restaurant coming to town, Chuck's Cafe, on Princeton Pike. I was able to attend that with members of growth and redevelopment. So that was,
Yeah.
It's always very exciting when new businesses come to our town. So I just wanted to make sure you share that with the public. Okay.
They want to be here. They want to be here.
Okay, thank you. So with that, we will now go into executive session. If I can have a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor, I guess. Thank you, public, for coming out this evening. We appreciate your participation.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving.